Walking red carpets, making money for simply wearing designer clothes that most people will never be able to afford, and making headlines with every tweet you make. And those aren't even the craziest things that come with being a celebrity. Perhaps the craziest thing of all is how much money they make. I've been in quite a few celebrity homes, and even a couple that are on this list, and I can tell you, celebrities aren't afraid to flaunt the millions they make from every movie, every brand deal, and every collaboration they do. Today, we're going to take a look at the highest paid celebrities of 2020 and see exactly what they do with all that cash. Get ready for fancy homes, luxury boats, and extravagant planes. Number 10. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you've seen a movie poster, trailer, or been on Twitter in the past year, chances are you've seen Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Back in 2019, he topped the list as the highest paid actor in the world, and that should come as no surprise. He was paid $700,000 per episode on the show Ballers and earned millions of dollars for starring in Jumanji. According to Forbes' 2020 list of highest paid celebrities, The Rock is pulling in $85.9 million this year. But how exactly does someone climb to this level of stardom? It seems like there are just dozens of movies made for The Rock, and that's because, well, there are. The Rock is one of the co-founders of Seven Bucks Productions, a production studio that teams up with bigger studios to create blockbuster movies. Movies like Jumanji and Skyscraper and Fighting with My Family and Rampage. You're seeing a pattern here. The Rock can produce films that he can then star in, which makes him double the money and gets him double the credit. He doesn't have to wait for roles to come in because he can just create the roles. And when The Rock isn't making movies and starring in them, he's got plenty of other incredible things he can do and places he can relax in. His most recent home purchase was a $9.5 million farm in Georgia. And just by looking at this stunning property, it's clear that whenever he's away, he's got to have Georgia on his mind. The 46-acre estate has a 14,000 square foot mansion on it, as well as dozens of pastures, riding arenas, and a 12-stall custom-made horse barn. Outside, you'll also find a free-form saltwater pool with an extensive cabana for relaxing after a long day on set. The home utilizes a rustic charm to really make you feel like you're in the French countryside. There are stone features throughout, including several stone fireplaces built into the many rooms. There are 8 bedrooms with en-suite bathrooms, and then there are the more exciting rooms. If you like a cozy night in, that is. The home comes with a wine cellar and a carefully crafted wood-paneled library, which has a stained glass window inside. The Rock isn't about muscles all the time, after all. Number 9. LeBron James. Not every celebrity makes their money by standing in front of a camera and reciting lines. Some people make their money sprinting in front of a camera, dribbling down the court towards a victory. And some people, like LeBron James, make $88.2 million doing just that. No matter who you are, you've probably heard of LeBron James. From the get-go, the world knew he was going to be a star. By his sophomore year of high school, he was already gracing the covers of magazines, where writers speculated that he would become the greatest basketball player of all time. And depending on who you ask, most people will say he is. After playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, then the Miami Heat, and then the Cleveland Cavs again in 2018, LeBron made a huge change and joined the LA Lakers in a contract valued at $153 million. And basketball isn't the only way LeBron makes his fortune. He's had many endorsement contracts, including Coca-Cola, Dunkin' Donuts, State Farm, and of course, Nike. And though I did say some celebrities don't make their money acting in front of a camera, well, LeBron actually does that too. He owns Spring Hill Entertainment, a production company that has been behind documentaries, animated shows, and even game shows. When he's not playing on the court or playing a character in front of the cameras, LeBron has a lot of great places he can kick his Nikes off and relax in. He owns several homes, and these aren't your mom's house. In 2018, he purchased a $23 million home in Brentwood. The modern villa looks like it belongs on an island in Greece, with stark white walls, open living space, and sprawling green grass all around. There's a gourmet kitchen with marbled countertops, or for nights when he's celebrating, there's a black marble bar downstairs. There's also a large custom-made movie theater with yet another bar. Truly, the possibilities are endless here. When he lived in Florida, he owned a $17.3 million estate. He's also linked to a massive mansion in Akron, Ohio that he built built back in 2003. The home has a sports bar, home theater, recording studio, 6 bedrooms, and a bowling alley. We may never know if LeBron is as good at rolling strikes as he is at shooting hoops. Number 8. Howard Stern. Anyone who has a show named after them is bound to have a lot of cash in their pocket. And if that show is called The Howard Stern Show, we're talking more money than most people can imagine. Howard Stern comes in at number 8 on our list with $90 million. Though he's a bit of a controversial personality, that's never stopped Howard Stern from making money. He started his radio career way back in the 1970s, and he's been successful in that business since. His 20-year run at the WXRK in New York City aired in 60 markets and had 20 million listeners. In the early 2000s, he made a deal with Sirius XM, valued at $500 million, and then that deal was renewed again in 2010. Aside from radio, Howard has made a fortune selling books. His books in the 90s, Private Parts and Miss America, sold over 1 million copies, and his appearances as a judge on America's Got Talent garnered millions of views every single week. With a career that has spanned decades and earned an insane amount of money, it's no surprise that Howard Stern owns some impressive properties. 2 properties are in New York, in Manhattan's Millennium Tower. Howard owns 3 apartments, including a 4,149 square foot penthouse on the 45th floor. In 2008, he scooped up 2 apartments below, adding another 2,546 square feet to his massive home overlooking New York. That addition alone cost $15.5 million. In 2005, he decided he needed more in the Big Apple. He purchased a $20 million lot in Southampton. The home he built there is entirely custom-made, with stone fireplaces, a bowling alley, imported marble countertops, a study, and a pool that overlooks the ocean. But who wants to live in New York City year-round? It's gray, it's cold. I mean, let's face it, October through March leaves a lot to be desired. When the winter blues have got him down, well, Howard can jet to his property in Palm Beach, Florida. The home cost him $52 million and is ranked as the 8th most expensive home in Palm Beach, which says a lot. Little is known about the massive house, but it does span 18,673 square feet, and the exterior looks pretty impressive. Number 7. Neymar. Another sports celebrity, and not the last, has made it onto the list, and this one I actually know quite a bit about. Neymar, the Brazilian football player, is number 7 on our list, earning $95.5 million this year. Now one of the world's highest paid athletes, Neymar signed his very first contract at the age of 9, and he hasn't stopped signing contracts since. His transfer from Barcelona to PSG is the most expensive sports transfer in the world at $263 million. His 5-year contract with PSG stands at $350 million, and that's not the only money he's making. In 2011, he signed an 11-year contract with Nike. That very same month, Panasonic paid $2.4 million just for a 2-year contract with Neymar. At only 28 years old, Neymar has more money and fame than most people can even imagine. While many 28-year-olds can't even afford to buy a home, Neymar has more than one. In Brazil, he owns an $8 million house. The home has 5-bedroom suites, tennis courts, a swimming pool, a state-of-the-art gym, and a helipad. The home also has one special addition, a place where he can dock his $8 million private yacht that costs $120,000 per year just to maintain. But that yacht isn't the only expensive way to get around. Neymar has an extensive car collection, including a Porsche Panamera Turbo that costs between $400,000 and $550,000. Or if he has to jet off to Egypt, he can hop in his private jet, an Embraer Phenom 100, which costs $4.5 million. Number 6. Tyler Perry. You've got to be pretty big to create your own movie studio, and if anyone has had success with that, it's Tyler Perry. His 2020 earnings are estimated at $97 million. Chances are, when you think of Tyler Perry, you think of Medea, but it took a long time and a lot of work for any of his projects to become a household name. He grew up with an abusive father, often using church as a refuge. After getting his GED, he moved to Atlanta and put his life savings into making a play based on his own experiences with dysfunctional families and child abuse. The play was not a hit, but that didn't stop him. Eventually, his plays gained traction and cemented him as a powerful storyteller. In 2005, he raised the money to shoot Diary of a Black Woman, his first feature film, and the beginning of his film franchise. Just 6 years after his first film was released, his films had grossed over $500 million. He went on to work on several television shows and eventually created Tyler Perry Studios, a 330-acre film studio in Georgia. The studio is one of the largest in the world. And that studio isn't the only massive property he owns. He purchased 1,200 acres outside of Atlanta, which will someday become a sustainable farm where he can raise his son with a connection to nature. In addition, he owns properties in the Bahamas and in Wyoming. Number 5. Lionel Messi. Football, or soccer as you Americans call it, is worth an insane amount of money, and Lionel Messi is making more of it than most athletes in the world. $104 million in 2020 alone, to be exact. As with most athletes, Lionel, or Leo as many call him, had a love of the sport at a very young age. At the tender age of 10, he had a trial with Barcelona, and the team director wanted to sign him immediately. During the 2003 and 2004 season, he skyrocketed through the club's ranks, and he's continued to do so ever since. At the age of 18, he signed his first contract as a senior player. By 2012, he was shattering records across the globe and cementing himself as one of the greatest football players of all time. He has a lifelong deal with Adidas for an undisclosed amount, though his yearly endorsement earnings are estimated to hover around $32 million. He gives a lot of his money to charity, but that doesn't mean he opts out of fancy houses or cars. He owns a home in Spain that overlooks the Mediterranean coast and has its own football pitch and private gym. He spent more than $6 million transforming the property into his dream estate. Number 4. Cristiano Ronaldo. I can't mention football players without mentioning Cristiano Ronaldo, the most followed person on social media and one of the wealthiest football players on earth. Cristiano Ronaldo comes in at number 4 with $105 million. Like many people on this list, Cristiano has a rags to riches story. He grew up in Portugal, sharing a bedroom with his 3 siblings. By the age of 14, he was playing football semi-professionally, and soon after, he began to play fully pro. In 2018, he signed a 4-year contract earning him $64 million a year, and that's not including the $40 million he makes from endorsements with companies like Toyota, Herbalife, and Nike. So, what does Ronaldo do with all that cash? Well, mainly, he buys properties. He has $27 million worth of property, including a double villa in Turin, Italy. The home has an indoor and outdoor pool, 8 bedrooms, dozens of fireplaces, and a private garden that overlooks the mountains. He has a vacation home in Spain that's estimated to be $1.6 million, and it looks like it's worth every penny. There's an infinity pool overlooking the coast, a master suite with a walk-in closet, and a cinema where you can kick back and watch non-stop sports on YouTube. Outside of Europe, he owns a $18.5 million apartment in Trump Tower. The maximalist-style home has flashy walls, flashy carpet, and flashy views of New York City. There are 3 bedrooms and 2 spa-like bathrooms. Aside from collecting homes, Cristiano also has a love of collecting cars. He owns a $360,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom and a $220,000 Bentley GT Speed, 2 Aston Martins, and a $1.7 million Bugatti Veyron. And of course, when he wants to travel between his fancy cars and the Bugatti won't cut it, he can just hop in his private jet, a Gulfstream G650 worth $64.5 million. Number 3. Roger Federer. Sure, there have been a lot of football players on this list. It's the world's most popular sport, so that's expected to happen. But there is an athlete that surpasses all the football players on the list, and it's not for the sport you'd expect. Roger Federer, considered by many to be the world's best male tennis player, earns $106.3 million, and he is the world's highest paid athlete. He's won 20 Grand Slam titles, 8 Wimbledon men's singles titles, 6 Australian Open titles, 5 US Open titles, and is one of the only 8 men to achieve a career Grand Slam. And in 2015, he amassed his 1,000th victory. He's earned over $129 million in prize money over the course of his career. Most of his wealth comes from endorsement deals, and that's no surprise when you look at the stats. Federer has ranked as one of the world's most trusted personalities, coming in second only behind Nelson Mandela. In 2017, a study found that he was the world's world's most marketable sports person. His endorsements include a $300 million 10-year contract with Uniqlo. In addition, he has deals with Rolex, Lindt, Mercedes-Benz, Gillette, Wilson, and dozens of other companies. And though he is incredibly wealthy, Federer doesn't really flaunt his wealth. He owns a home in Zurich that is on the shores of Lake Zurich and costs 6.5 million euros. He also owns a luxury apartment in Dubai, but little is known about the apartment. However, it's on the 50th story of a prominent skyscraper and has 5 bedrooms, so I'd imagine he's got enough room to swing a racket or two. Number 2. Kanye West. Sometimes you just gotta love yourself as much as the next person on our list does. That's right, the man himself, Kanye West, is the second highest paid celebrity of 2020. Kanye, Yeezy or Ye, began his career in the 1990s, though he got his big break in 2000 for his contributions to Jay-Z's album The Blueprint. He found success working as a producer but preferred to rap himself, so that's exactly what he did. His debut album, The College Dropout, skyrocketed up the charts, turning him into a household name. His following albums, Late Registration, Graduation, Yeezus, and The Life of Pablo, has made him one of the most celebrated musicians of the 21st century. Even with his wild success as a musician, that isn't the only way Kanye makes his money. He's launched several clothing brands and collaborations, including DW Kanye West and, of course, Yeezy. Yeezy is worth $3 billion, and it's estimated that Yeezy alone adds $1.26 billion to Kanye's wealth. He's dipped his toes in dozens of business ventures, including music streaming services, restaurant ownership, creative content companies, and most recently, he's expressed interest in opening up an automobile factory. He and his wife Kim are not shy about flaunting their wealth. They have a 15,667 square foot mansion in Hidden Hills, California, which is estimated to be worth $60 million. It's massive, yet minimalist, which is a bit of a thinker. He owns a $14 million ranch in Wyoming. The property includes a restaurant, a saloon, horse barns, and a shooting range. Just 100 miles away, he owns yet another ranch, which was purchased for another $14 million. In addition, he owns a 300-acre property in Calabasas, and if you know anything about Calabasas, it's that doesn't come cheap. Number 1. Kylie Jenner. It should come as no surprise that the most wealthy celebrity is yet another member of the Kardashian clan. At $590 million, Kylie deserves the top spot on this list. How Kylie reached her level of success is fairly well known. When you're growing up on one of the most popular reality television shows, well, you're bound to pretty much have a financially secure future. And boy, has she. Kylie's fortune mainly comes from Kylie Cosmetics, and in 2019, she sold 51% of Kylie Cosmetics to Coty Incorporated for $600 million, and she was only 21. Kylie's business career began at the age of 14, when she and her sister collaborated with PacSun. Around the same time, she worked with OPI and earned $100,000 for her endorsement with them. She went on to do hair extensions and eventually her lip kits. Kylie Cosmetics grew rapidly due to her social media following and is estimated to be worth $900 million today. Of course, in addition to her businesses, Kylie can make an incredible amount of money from endorsements. She charges $1 million to do endorsements on Instagram, which I gotta say is a pretty incredible way to make a fortune. Like all of her family members, Kylie isn't shy about her wealth. She owns several homes, the first of which she purchased when she was just 17 years old. She has a $36 million, 15,350 square foot home in the Holmby Hills. The property has 7 bedrooms, 14 baths, 2 guest houses, and luxury resort-style amenities. She's followed in the footsteps of Kanye by buying a 5-acre parcel of land in Hidden Hills for $15 million. She sold and flipped 3 separate mansions in Hidden Hills for millions, including a $5.3 million craftsman-style ranch home. So, there you have it, the highest paid celebrities of 2020. Who would you want to spend a day with? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Oh, and maybe drop me a like on Instagram for the one time. As always, I'm Mr. Luxury. Pip pip to doodly doo.